Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we educate, empower, and entertain. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, download, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records.
Shopping assistance, your style, your budget. Our services include online and local shopping for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, and helping you find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195 or shoppingassistance2015@gmail.com. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget.
Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us here Rich Kozak, and we're here to speak about where passion and purpose make a difference. I'm going to give you a little bit about Rich so you can get to know who is it that you're listening to. So he's a brand languaging expert, a marketing strategist for heart-centered and faith-based entrepreneurs, a speaker, author, coach, founder, and CEO of Rich Brands and impact-driven publishing. So I learned that he also played in a rock band, which is really cool. He's all about self-care, farming, and knowing what enters your body and being cognizant of that. He grows stuff and he can tell you a little bit about that. He is a focus group facilitator, and there's something that he spoke about in terms of when branding becomes God's work. We're going to touch on that because I want to hear a little bit about it. So, hi, Rich. Welcome.
Jade, it is a delight to be here. This is going to be fun.
I know that already. I definitely can feel that. I want us to jump into it, Rich. What is the difference between following your passion and living your purpose?
Well, I think with many people, passion comes first. And I must say to you, because I deal with individuals who are impact driven, and sometimes purpose doesn't land, real purpose, divine purpose, why we're made, what we were filled with, why God put us here in the first place, doesn't come until after we have gotten quite prepared through whatever life has presented us. Sometimes it's a surprise, sometimes it's really obvious, but sometimes it doesn't come. There are a lot of people in graveyards that never they never chose to focus, they never got to focus, they never asked. And so I'll just say this, passion is something that when you feel it and when you share it and other people feel it, makes you more attractive and more magnetic. It doesn't matter whether you're selling a software integration package or whether you're helping people overcome barriers from their youth or teaching people how to lead rapidly growing companies. It doesn't matter. When you're passionate about something and you lose track of time when you're doing it, you just really enjoy it. People feel that. And when people feel it, it's a magnet and people are attracted to that. So passion is powerful, but passion is not purpose. They're two very different things. And we get to listen and ask for what we get to do, what's God's will, and step into it when we realize it. There are some phenomenal coaches out there that, in addition to being, not a lot, but in addition to being business coaches and helping people really do better in business, they also help people step into purpose, even find what they consider their calling. I have a very active client who helps people find their calling and step into it, in addition to really helping their businesses thrive. So passion makes life more fun. Purpose takes us to an entirely different level.
Mm.
And giving and contributing in a significant way. Jade, that's what we all have in common. We all get to make the most significant impacts that we can with the gifts we've been given on those whose lives we touch. We all get that opportunity. Some of us do it, and we all get to. I love purpose because it helps people who, you could be 30, but you could be 80 and say, look, I know I'm not done. I just not sure where it goes from here. I have a phenomenal client who's 83, and he said that exact same thing to me. I just can't see where it goes from here. But there is always another level. There is always more. And there are many of us who have decades of experience, but we know there's more. We're not sure how to get to build the steps to the second story of that building, or to break through the gate that seems to be locked to the next level of our impact. But I'm here to tell you, I help people do that every day. It is just a process, and it comes from inside us, not from outside. A lot of people see the word branding on what I do. Rich Brands is the name of my company. Impact-driven branding, the name of my book. Impact-driven publishing, the name of our publishing company. And they think, well, branding, that's like kind of putting on a superhero costume and becoming something you're not, but just so you can make some more money. I'm here to tell you that when you want to make impacts on people's lives, and you want to step into purpose and take your impacts higher to a higher level, it comes from inside you. It doesn't come from outside you.
Right.
Nobody's going to slap something on you that you have to become. You get to close your eyes and envision the impacts you'll make. And it is powerful, and it works every time. It's just a process. So if you're listening to this podcast, that should have been a wake-up call. You didn't know that. Nobody ever told you that. And they never told you that, that branding was absolutely a simple process of steps. They want you to think it's something so unique that you have to hire a guru. Not true.
Rich, can you share, when is it that you aligned with your passion and purpose to make a significant impact? A lot of times people don't know, or people are not sure if it is that it can align.
Yeah.
And how is it that they can make such a good impact when they allow it to align? So when is it, or how is it that you made that happen?
For me, I have to laugh at myself. So Jade, I used to think that my ability to listen to a person, and I might have been the CEO of a big company, like back in the day, one of my clients was a $14 billion company with a B. Today, my clients are individuals, sometimes solopreneurs, or maybe have a company, but they're the leader of the company. Well, I used to think that my ability to talk to that individual or to their team and to envision what they could become and project that to them and share that with them and help them guide the brand, that was my skill. I was addicted to my job. I loved doing this work, but I was addicted to this global branding thing. When I turned 50, I resigned my career. I changed my prayer. Lord, I'm resigning this addictive career to reshape my life. Show me what you want me to do. I'm ready. So I'm asking. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is congruent with God's will for why I'm here. So I'm ready. But then I got really busy doing real estate. Anyway, I'm digressing here. You asked me when I shifted and how it got aligned.
Right.
My passion and purpose. So I've always really, really enjoyed the process of listening to what someone is fascinated about. They're in software, or they had a product, or they have a service, or they've created a method, or fascinated. It just is in me. Okay. It's always been that way. And people sense that, and it's very attractive. That's how I know how passion works so well. But I used to think it was my gift that I could do that. Well, people started asking me from my network, help me with my individual brand. And I would tell them I don't do that anymore. And they said, well, that's not true. You never stopped. You just don't charge for it. And I want your help. So I decided to help some individuals. And in the process, over about 6 months, I did 3 individuals. One was handed to me by a coach. I'm handing you a client. You're the best branding person for this. And I'm like, okay. I realized that what I'm doing with these individuals, helping them write down the impacts they clearly see making when they thrive, and defining and languaging the brand they must become to make those impacts. 2 things dawned on me. I was literally sitting in church in the choir loft, and I get this download like, oh my gosh, this is not my work. God put the desire for impacts in people's hearts. I'm just helping them mine them and articulate them, and using the branding process that I'm so familiar with to shape a way that they say it consistently and congruently with energy and uniquely, and attract people faster. And it's like, this is God's work. It's not even my work. And I enjoyed it so much. It didn't even feel like work. And so all of a sudden I realized it's not my skill. It's my gift. In the first 3 years of the last 10 years that I've been working with individuals, about 3 years into it, I started feeling like when I would get ideas and I would explain it to people, I felt like they were coming through me instead of from me. And I started realizing that indeed it is a gift, and I am in the zone, and I get to do this work. And I'm telling you, each of us, no matter who we are or what we're into, get to be in that zone where we enjoy doing what we're doing. It brings us great joy. We're helping others, touching others, impacting. We could be impacting an industry or a country or an individual. We enjoy doing that so much, and that it doesn't feel like work. When work feels like love instead of work, you are absolutely blessed. And so it is, and we all are. It's just we're at different stages of the process. So in helping individuals, a remarkable and I guess ironic thing, in helping individuals align the impacts they clearly see with the language of how they say who they are and what they do, so that everything their brand says aligns with the impacts that they clearly see making, helping them aligned me completely to this purpose that I see I have, that I get to help others. I touch somebody and they touch thousands of others. So I literally get to transform the transformers, and it doesn't feel like work. It is amazing. Yeah, I don't live in an ivory tower. I'm married. I've been married 48 years. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary, and 53 Valentine's Days coming up in February. And like I told you, I played in a rock band. I've done a whole bunch of things, and it's like I've traveled a lot. So there have been a lot of things that tried to steal my interest and that I became fascinated with and good at. And we all get to go through whatever testing or practicing or swamps or struggling. One of my struggles was when I got involved in real estate after I resigned my agency job. I built a lot of wealth, and then I lost a lot. As a matter of fact, within about a year, I went from being worth almost $10 million to being worth negative 1.2. So it's like, whoops. Mm. We all go through whatever we go through. But I will tell you, it is my opinion, but I put this up against anyone's opinion. What we go through in life is preparing us for what we're here for.
Yes.
And, if you have children who are going through rough times or struggling or or you're in a relationship, hey, what you go through is preparing you for what you're being made for. So get through it, be diligent, don't get complacent, and don't judge yourself. Judgment's above our pay grade, whether we're judging ourselves or judging others. and learn to tear off the rearview mirror. It's not about the past. It's about what's to come every day. When I talk about branding with people and, let's have a branding moment for a session for just, like 1 minute. People don't understand. Most people don't understand that a brand, their brand, if you will, your brand, Jade, is a perception, but it's not your perception. I mean, you can tell me what you think it is for 10 minutes, but it doesn't matter what you tell me. It's what your most important target audiences think it is. It's the perception of you or your brand in the minds of those whom you most care about impacting. That's your brand. It's a perception. And their perception is reality. Branding is everything we get to do that shapes a consistent perception in the minds of those we most want to impact. When you realize that's what it is, all the fakey stuff just falls away. You get to step into what brings you joy, and people will feel it. They feel genuineness. They feel passion. Passion is magnetic. And when you can see for them something they might not even see for themselves, and you can say to them in your area of joy, what I see for you, the words that follow that make you a magnet or makes you fall flat. And making sure those words are as powerful as possible, the picture you paint of what you see for them is as magnetic as possible, is the part of the process, the outcome of the process of the steps that build impact-driven brands, whether it's one person or a huge company. So anyway, there's your branding moment. And when you don't have to put on some superhero costume and become something you're not, and you just get to slip into your brand as the most comfortable pair of shoes you ever wore because it's purely you, life is... it really does get sweeter.
It does. It does.
And we can help others do this. We can help millions. There are millions of entrepreneurs, and I use that word, a professional business owner, entrepreneur, professional, like they're licensed or they have some kind of credential, or they're a member, they're a professional coach, or they're diligent and they've built their craft. Entrepreneurs, professionals who have done things for a long time and are good at them, but they know there's more, and they don't know how to make that. They don't know how to define and language that, and so that everything they see they can do aligns with everything they say and do. And they just don't know because nobody teaches it. I've been teaching it. I've taught it to $14 billion companies. It's amazing. Some CEO who came up in finance or who's an attorney, they're not trained in marketing or branding. They just aren't. And they are skeptical. They think it's, their words are, it's, bull or, fakey or airy fairy, they use all kinds of terms. But when they realize, their company builds oil platforms in the North Sea, and you say to them, branding is like that oil platform you built in the North Sea. It's a process, it's steps, and you get the steps. If you leave the steps out, it's not going to work. You got to do the steps. And they're like, really? They don't know. And so you can tell I kind of enjoy this. Mm-hmm. And I got quite good at it with big companies, but it is an absolute God blessing to do it with individuals.
Right.
Yeah.
Rich, what sacrifices, if any, have you made to pursue your passion and purpose?
Well, remember I said I resigned my addictive job. I left out the part I was doing all-nighters at 50 years old. I was working on projects all night and then driving home, showering, shaving, heading to the big board meeting. You can't do that very long until you're toast. And if you get addicted to your work, like I did, your sons, in my case, I have 2 sons who are now like ish, don't see a lot of you, and neither does your wife. You're really, really lucky your relationship stays together. So when I said I feel like the luckiest man in the world and I've been married for 48 years, there were remarkably trust issues never found their way into our relationship. Even though I didn't come home some nights. I mean, I could have been anywhere.
Right.
Or late, because this is a crazy world and I live in a major metropolitan area in Los Angeles. It's like, are you kidding? But so my family and my relationships with my son and my wife suffered because I wasn't there. I didn't get that time. I got a lot of time. I mean, we did Indian guides. Both my sons are Boy Scouts. They're Eagle Scouts. My wife and I enjoy our time together. However, there's a lot of time that I just was working. And, life gets to be out of balance sometimes. And it's our opportunity to prevent that, to build balance into it. Let's take health, for example, since we've talked about, how we eat and what we put in our bodies. I'm an organic farmer, so we have 2 levels here where I live along the side of a hill. And the lower level has gardens and we grow vegetables. So, right now it's in Southern California. We have tomatoes and peppers and cilantro and fruit trees and, that are all, kumquats and guavas and things that are right now. If you don't put in your body, including sleep, the things that your body absolutely requires to thrive, it won't thrive. And if you don't sleep or you eat the wrong things, you get overweight and you get out of shape. And during that period where I was coming up to 50 years old, because of a number of things, including the way human bodies are, I felt that I was really risking myself just toasting out with a heart attack if I kept doing what I was doing. And it's one of the reasons that I resigned my career. So I had to learn, and I will share this with you in a way that you who are listening to this will learn it as well. I was about to launch my Rich Brands officially, like I help people launch their brand, and I had put off launching mine so I could help them launch theirs. It wasn't about me, I felt, but I eventually got the opportunity to speak a couple of times at a big event called the Best You Expo here in Los Angeles in March of 2023. And I went to an event prior to that as sort of a meet and greet event for people who are involved in that big expo. And I was going around, meeting people and shaking hands and having photos taken. And there was this guy, and I'm pretty out of shape. But I'm heavy at the time. And I see this 40, maybe 45-year-old fellow in a dusty rose-colored suit. No, not pink. That would have been West LA. This is dusty rose, okay? Very masculine looking. It was tapered, the look. And he kind of like reddish-brown hair, kind of freckly. And I went up to this guy and I went, dude, I don't know who you are or what you do, but you have the body that my wife wishes I had. I literally said that to him. Because I don't hold much back, as you can tell. And he looked at me and he cocked his head kind of funny and he smiled and he has a beautiful smile. And he said, I can help you with that. He was a coach. He was a transformational trainer who had taken himself from a heart attack and becoming really out of shape to being in pristine shape, really fit. And he had almost had a widowmaker heart attack. They caught it. And so he had open heart surgery. He's got this big, slit up his body, because he had to rip you open and spread your, cut your, lung cage open or your rib cage open. And, but this guy, so I hired him to help me put myself in the best shape of my life for the next huge birthday that I was about to celebrate in 2023. I won't tell you which birthday that was because it might probably blow your mind. People think I'm about 20 years, sometimes 30 years younger than I actually am because of my energy level. And I want to go the other direction. One of the things you say your podcast is about is resources and things like there are some phenomenal books out there that everybody ought to read. I'd say Peter Diamandis' book called Longevity is an absolute must. And if you think the world is all screwed up and we'll never solve our problems, read the book Abundance by Diamandis. It talks about geometric growth and new technologies and the way we have everything we need to solve some of these problems that seem unsolvable, but we can't think other than linearly because we're human beings. But all of these technologies and capabilities all have the promise of geometric growth, which means we can't see what can be done. But there are some people who immersed in those technologies, the management of aging, bio technologies, water and energy, AI, all of these technologies that literally can be used together to solve problems in ways a human can't even imagine, until they can. We can imagine when we see it, and then we go, "Oh, yeah, that was good," but we thought it wasn't possible. So, wow, yeah, get those. It literally just reading a couple chapters in abundance will just shift your energy and give you so much hope about what is possible if we just use what we have. It's phenomenal. Yeah. So,
I want to know, Rich, as you're doing this and you're making the changes, sacrifices for the business and making sure that your passion and your purpose aligns, what legacy do you hope to leave behind through the alignment of your passion and purpose?
It's wonderful that you asked me that question. I ask part of the process that is the steps of impact-driven branding is to envision the legacy that the work will leave. And so for me, millions of entrepreneurs and professionals worldwide find a way to take themselves into more joy, more effective doing what really brings them joy for many, many more years. And although that might be their work, their job might not be why they're here, but it is a vehicle. When this work is done right, it creates a platform that enables them to more easily step into their purpose and why they're here. So providing that wisdom and the how-to steps for millions of people, particularly younger people worldwide, so that they have this early to share it. They can share it with their children or their people that they work with, will literally shift their ability to step into not only a more abundant business, but their purpose earlier. And what a blessing. To me, that's a great gift. The book that is coming out soon that we're finishing now is called Impact-Driven Branding, 7 Steps to Ensure Your Brand Impacts People's Lives in the World. It's a how-to book. It hands the steps to people and says, here, we've made it easy. Just do this. There's another book in my future, just like there is in many of the brands that I help define in language. It's called Brands in God's Hands. And the world needs that. Don't think about it that way. When does branding become God's work? When we reach into our hearts and say, these are the impacts I clearly see making on this type of person and this type of person or these couple, these type of people. When this is thriving and these are the kind of impacts. When you write that down, God put that desire for impacts in your heart. Whose work are you doing? And so is it branding? You can call it that. It's branding if it's shaping a consistent perception in the minds of those who are your most important target audience. It's branding. But because it began with you envisioning clearly the impacts you could see in your mind's eye when you're thriving, and you wrote down the types of impacts, you help a person overcome negative thinking, or you help them, give them a new mindset or a new skill set, you get them new results. They're higher and higher and higher levels. You write that down when your brand has that clarity. And now the way it speaks gets you there faster because you get credit for what you must get credit for to make those impacts sooner. It's God's work, isn't it? And so that's one of the reasons I say I get to do this. And I'm not alone. Many of the people who have been through the work with me as a client say, listen, as your team grows, I want to be on it because this is a very uplifting and very, very uplifting community, and it is diverse, and it's it's delightful being a part of it. And so what a blessing, right?
It is a blessing. It's a blessing to use our purpose and our passion for the purpose of God to help people while we're doing it.
Absolutely. I'm not going to do this, but if I made a list of like 10 active clients that I could think of, it'd blow your mind at how diverse it is. From teaching, giving parents proven tools to build character in each of their children in minutes a day. I'm helping a woman launch a nonprofit called, the website is called buildingkidswhocare.com. And it is a God blessing. There are people who help others overcome some of the most challenging things that human beings can go through. It really is a mixed bag. Like I said, I manufacturers and software people, and it doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't matter. Coaches, experts, people whose experience has enabled them to create a method or a process that really works for others, but they don't know how to talk about it or how to say it or how to position it. It's really a blessing.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's really a blessing. Rich, I want you to tell people where is it that they can find you. And earlier we spoke about even some gifts or some free gifts that they could also get. Where is it?
Absolutely. And I love free gifts, and I love to get them, and I love to give them. So let me frame it this way. People hear that I've been doing this for, teaching the process of branding, and that I've been in the workspace 48 years, as long as I've been married, 48 years. And they say, wow, you should be on a yacht or on a beach. Well, Jade, I'm on Zoom. And so if you think that's as funny as I do, you and anybody who's listening to this, I want you to take advantage of it. Literally, I want to hear about you. I get passionate about people's purpose. I want to hear about you. And so on my website at richbrands.org, Rich Brands, my name, Rich, and brands, brands, what we do, .org. First thing you'll see at the very top of the first page is talk to Rich for 30 minutes. Click the link. You'll be on my calendar. I don't care who you are or where you are. I still have that up there. I'm on Zoom, not on a beach. You can find me, and you've got me, and it's free to talk to me for 30 minutes about you and what I see for you. But I'm going to listen. It's like that focus group moderator. I'm going to ask you some questions, but I'm going to listen because I'll hear your heart. And I've been there so many times. I would love to hear about you and talk to you about possibilities I see for your brand. Things can happen in 1 minute that can literally shift your results or your thinking in some major and positive way. So that's number one. Go to richbrands.org and schedule 30 minutes with me. Now, if everybody in the world did that, I'd have to cut it off. So make sure you get on before this, is all over the place. Also, when you go there, you can download some videos that answer questions that a lot of people want to ask or need to ask, and how. I do 2 60-minute free master classes every month. And one of the master classes deals with if you want to create, making impacts, but if you want to create a life of legacy, you're going to need to evolve your brand. And so literally you sign up for that 60-minute masterclass by going to brandfirstorDie.com. In other words, it's like you don't evolve that brand, you haven't evolved the perception. Your brand is the perception. You must evolve the perception. So get on that masterclass and listen tight. It's free. brandfirstorDie.com twice a month. And then I do a paid session that's a half day every month. And it's called Branding You with Impact. And it teaches you what happens when you define and language a brand clearly. There are a lot of things that go right. And what happens when you don't? When you understand that clearly, and you will, we spend a half at 4 hours on a Saturday morning or a Thursday morning. We rock it back and forth each month, 1 month Thursday, 1 month Saturday. You have no excuse not to come unless you don't think you can afford $97. It should be $9,700 to come to that, because people will save tens of thousands of dollars preventing stupid mistakes that they'll make otherwise. I also do 2 trainings in that half day. One is on logos and taglines, and the other is on messaging hierarchy. You just need to get there. Branding you with impact. If you go to my website and just scroll down to the half-day event, it'll be there and you can sign up. So we have a second 60-minute masterclass called An Hour of Brand Power, which we're developing right now, and it'll come out probably in February. So we'll be doing Brand First or Die and An Hour of Brand Power. What 4 things really make a brand come alive, and you have to have them, and what are 10 of the 17 things that people do that hurt the brand, and you got to stop them right now. People don't teach that stuff, and I do. And so, and if you come to do any of that and you don't think that you have found the mother lode of straight talk you can trust and deep experience you can count on, you're glad to go to try to find somebody who's on a beach or a yacht then. Yeah, there you have it. Praise God.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rich. Thank you so much for sharing that, and even the gifts that you're giving people, because I know it's impactful, and in times like these, people sometimes want these free gifts. So thank you so much for giving all your free gifts to people, and I'm hoping that they use the opportunity wisely and well.
Sometimes people just don't see what they don't see. Even if someone else that's not trained like I am and experienced with 48 years of doing this might see something you don't see. But I see it with perspective and can literally suggest what you do instead once I hear who you are and get a feeling for what your impacts are going to be. Then it's we'll look to see what's not working and make sure that it turns into what's working. Yeah, it is lovely. So what a treat. Jade, thank you for your great questions. Thank you for having this awesome podcast. Like I said to you before we came on the air, when I reviewed the work you've done, and I realized you've interviewed people on everything from digital marketing to sharing Christ, and from self-care to, I don't know, that's just, it really is a mixed bag. And the best thing I could imagine was for you and me to talk about lessons I've learned, and realities that some people haven't landed on them yet. And if I can speed that up, what a blessing.
Yes. Awesome. What a blessing indeed. What a blessing. Thank you so much again, Rich, for sharing on the podcast and for even helping people along the way to even speed up, and to even know the difference between your passion and purpose, and how is it that they can make it align and they can find joy while doing it. And anything that we're doing has our passion and purpose, we ought to find joy.
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And we get to. I mean, literally, it's not like some people do and then we don't. We all do. So get on with it. Jade, thank you so much. What a treat this is.
Yes, thank you so much. And I want to say thank you again to my listeners for continuing to listen to The Unfiltered by Jade. And we'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you. Bam, bam,